Proverbs. And, how many of you guys had a challenging week this week? Anybody? I had a very ugly week. In fact, Saturday came, which is today, and we got up. I was lounging in the bed, just waiting to get started. Then when I got started, I went in the living room, sat there, kind of went dozing in and out. Then we came and we did the men's sign language thing and went home, and I just got here just before service started. I fell asleep. And it's just one of those weeks where you just spiritually drained, physically drained. And so there's just a lot going on. And one of the things that's really crazy is that, when we get like this, sometimes we can lose direction. Sometimes you can be straight on direction, and other times you just kind of wondering, if you're coming or going. And so, as I was working on the message this week, there was a lot of stuff at work going on. It's amazing how God can use work to minister to you. And we had a whole new situation going on, and I was all frustrated and flustered and all this stuff. And my brain was going off. You guys ever plot someone's destruction, right? And I'm like, yes, drugs, and all this kind of stuff. So I spent more time praying, and it seemed like the more I prayed, the more irritated I was getting. And I was like, God, it's supposed to work the opposite way, right? The more you pray, the more nice and calm you can get, But it just started getting worse, and I started to think, something must be good because the devil is trying to mess everything up, And so I was looking through Proverbs, and there's so many things I could have preached on in Proverbs 7, but I found this and I said, hey, I think this is a good way to start, especially being that we're going to start a new year in a little bit. The title, Going the Wrong Way. Yeah? Are you going the wrong way? Is the question. It's actually a question. Where are you heading? Right? And if you're going the wrong way, God has some messages in the Proverbs 7 for us. And it's really simple applications that we make and that our lives can change really drastically. It's really cool. And so I started to think, and I wanted to kind of figure out, how can I do an illustration about this, are you going the wrong way kind of thing, and what you do after it. Well, how many of you guys ever saw a football game and the ball gets fumbled, the team grabs it, all the craziness starts running, only to find out that when he gets past the goal line, he's doing his victory dance, everybody else is, right? His team is looking at him like, stupid, right? He ran to the wrong goal. I've seen this so many times in football, watching different footballs. In fact, a story I found online was really cool. In 1929, at a Rose Bowl, a man by the name of Roy Ringo, he covered the fumble, and he ran 65 yards before tackled by his own teammate. And if the teammate didn't hit him, he would have scored for the other team. I don't know about you, but I'm thinking I'm this guy Roy, and I'm running, and I just ran 65 yards. I am the bomb. Right? Untouchable, and then my own teammate tackles me. Can you imagine when you look back and the one that tackles you is the same color? Like, what's up? And then it was crazy, right? Through the confusion, he ran the wrong way, and if it wasn't for his teammate, he would have scored for the other team. Now we're going to take that and we're going to twist this around, and I want us to understand this. We have God's kingdom and Satan's kingdom. And a lot of time in the game between heaven and hell, we get confused and we grab the ball and we start running the wrong way. And we think we're doing good. But in reality, we're close to scoring a touchdown for the wrong team. And so we're going to look at this, and we have a lot to read, and I kind of wanted to just put it that way so that we can see what God is saying. So when we look at this, the heart is this: if we know we're heading in the wrong direction, then we need to pick ourselves up and make a change. a lot of times what happens is that when we head down the wrong direction, we're embarrassed. What would people say? What people won't think if they haven't already done it all, right? All the talking, gossiping, and stuff. That we end up sabotaging our own ability through the power of the Holy Spirit to get back on the right track. I don't know about you guys, but I am a great person when it comes to sabotaging my own faith. Nobody needs to help me. I do a great job all by myself. And I am so blessed that I serve a God of second chances. Trying week this week. And when I was working on the message, I was broken simply by the fact, the truth of who my God is and who I am to Him. Let's read Proverbs 7, 1 to 27, and then we're going to break it down to about 4 gems that we can apply to our lives, that we would be able to get up, run again for the Lord. Verse 1, follow my advice, my son. Always treasure my commands. Obey my commands and live. Guard my instructions as regard your own eyes. Hide them on your finger as a reminder. Write them deep within your heart. Love wisdom like a sister. Make insight a beloved member of your family. Let them protect you. Let them protect you from an affair with an immoral woman, from listening to the flattery of a promiscuous woman. While I was at the window of my house, looking through the curtain, I saw some naive young men, and one in particular who lacked common sense. He was crossing the street near the house of an immoral woman, strolling down the path by her house. It was at twilight in the evening as deep darkness fell. The woman approached him, seductively dressed and side apart. She was the brass, rebellious type, never content to stay at home. She is often in the streets and markets, soliciting at every corner. She threw her arms around him and kissed him, and with a grave look she said, I've just made my peace offerings and fulfilled my vows. You're the one I was looking for. I came out to find you, and here you are. My bed is spread with beautiful blankets, with colored sheets of Egyptian linen. I perfumed my bed with myrrh, aloe, and cinnamon. Come, let's drink our fill of love until morning. Let's enjoy each other's caresses, for my husband is not home. He's away on a long trip. He has taken a wallet full of money with him and won't return until later this month. So she seduced him with her pretty speech and enticed him with her flattery. He followed her at once like an ox going to the slaughter. He was like a stag caught in a trap, awaiting the arrow that would pierce its heart. He was like a bird flying into a snare, little knowing it would cost him his life. So listen to me, my son, and pay attention to my word. Don't let your heart stray away towards her. Don't wander down her wayward path, for she has been the ruin of many. Many men have been her victims. Her house is the road to the grave. Her bedroom is the den of death. Crazy, crazy stuff. Right? I was going to just take a bunch of this and just kind of, but I wanted us to read this. And when you go home, I want you guys to read this again. Okay? And really let it sink in. Because this is like crazy, crazy stuff. And it's not just talking about a prostitute. It's talking about the world we're in. And if we're not careful, the world will seduce us with these words that you deserve it, everything is okay. And next thing you know, we start having this relationship outside of what God has called us to have with Him. Okay? Now, there is the spiritual part I'm talking about, and there's a physical part to this too. But I really want us to see what God is saying to us, because it teaches us that foolish men, foolish people, right, walks in places that they have no business at. Have you guys ever done that? Just you shouldn't be. Yeah, I've done that many times, and even today, right? I can be where I shouldn't be in the midst of a gossip, right? Instead of walking away, I'm like, feel it up, you know. In fact, I started trying little stuff inside, and before I know it, I'm seduced, if you would, enticed by this gossiping, and all of a sudden I'm taken in. And now my heart that loves God and desires to please God and love people through the eyes and heart of God is starting to twist. And instead of loving the people, I start gossiping and lying. Right? Isn't it crazy? Why don't we do that? I think we like seeing other people suffer. Right? You know, we're having a junk day, or we'll feel junk, so we see somebody feeling junk worse than we do, then we all of a sudden we start feeling good. Hey, my life's not that bad. You're worse off. It doesn't matter who's worse off. The problem is we both worse off. Yeah, we both where we're not supposed to. So, you know, we're gonna look at 4 things, and we're gonna grab onto this very traditional paths, if you will, of wisdom that God has for us, keeping us going in the right direction. Right? Because like I said, the world gets so crazy, right? We gotta take care of our family, we gotta go work, we get friends, we get our own issues, you know? And in the midst of all this juggling, we gotta make sure we keep our eyes on the right path. Because if not, we juggling, and instead of going this way, we're going that way. And all of a sudden we wonder why our life sucks right now. So we need to focus. What is the first gem? Well, the first gem is we need to have a plan. How many of you have a plan for your life? Okay? We cannot just wake up and go, one more day. Yeah? One of the things I learned from my pastor, and I didn't think it was a bad word, was wing it. I wake up and we do what we do. First time I used the word wing it with my pastor in one of our meetings, that little Japanese, I thought he was going to chop my head off, right? And I got all mad, you know, because I still get angry issues. I was like, he's little, I can take him, right? And I was like, it's just words, you're getting all bent over words, you know, like, he was really angry, and I was like, jeez, you need some Jesus, you know? But I realized why he got so angry. Because too many of us, we're living that way. I get up and whatever happens, happens. Don't mean to offend you, but that's stupid. You gotta have a plan. Right? Where do I want my life to go? And you know, how do I want my life to unfold? How do I get to where I want to be? You see, when I was growing up, I had my dad's mentality. Live all you can today, because you don't know if tomorrow coming. You know what's something about that? When tomorrow came, I used up everything yesterday, never have nothing for today. And now what? I'm angry, frustrated, and I give up. Well, whatever's there. I'm going to just have fun. And so eventually, that mindset, I started doing drugs, drinking, and just living. I go work, when I make money, and then I didn't plan for same thing. It was just the same routine over and over. And I realized that I was living but going nowhere. Too many Christians today are living but going nowhere. And that's not the way God planned it to be. If you guys read the scriptures, you'll find that God has big plans for us. And He has a great journey in store for us. A journey that will cause people's eyes to stare at us and hearts to leap at the excitement of what God is doing in our lives. Right? They look at it, man, why are you so blessed? Oh man, I'm thinking about Jesus. Right? And And being blessed doesn't mean you have a lot of money, okay? If you have a lot of money, God bless you. And if it's too much for you, pray over me. I'll bless you. Yeah, by saying thank you. But the blessing and fulfillment of God is knowing that, you know what? I have a chance today to live for the King of Kings. To bless Him and say thank you. You see, this is the time I have to practice what I'm going to do for all eternity. Right? What does Scripture say for all eternity we will do? We're going to stand in the presence of God, worshiping Him and glorifying Him. Right? And so, now is our chance to learn how to do that, to put it to practice. We live in a world that Satan is so smart about, that he's caused a lot of busyness, right? That we not able to focus our attention in the right place. We haven't focused all over. So we give a little bit here, a little bit there, a little bit there, and then before you know it, our plan is just trying to get through the day. How many of you guys just trying to get through the day, right? I mean, we should have a plan about how our week going. Right? I don't just pray for the day again. I pray for the day, don't get me wrong, right? Because I need God's help today, because I can be nasty. But I pray that at the end of the week, that this will unfold and this will happen. Right? See, there's a bunch of us that don't have no specific destination. My one specific destination is to stand in the presence of God. So what do I need to do on a daily basis that would allow that to happen, that I would eventually find myself living without regrets? You see, I started to think about this, and before I came to the Lord, I learned that I have a lot of regrets. And when I came and I started to evaluate that part of my life, and I evaluated the life when I found the Lord and committed myself to the Lord, I didn't find myself with the regrets as much as I did without God. And the regrets I have now is like, I just wish I would have listened to the Lord. I wish I would have been more compassionate. Different types of regrets. A regret that, you know, man, I had an opportunity to bless somebody, but I didn't listen. Versus, you know, oh, my life is like this, and I regret being alive, right? I regret meeting that person, oh, you know, my whole life destroyed and all this stuff, right? So I want us to see this, because Solomon tells us that we shouldn't live our life aimlessly, right? Having no destination, no place to go. We ought to be living with a purpose, right? If I want to be a husband, I want to be a good husband, I want to be a good dad, I want to be a Christian father, a Christian husband, I want to be the great worshiper of God, right? That I would find myself living in that way. And as I learn to live that way, as I strain, if you would, to live that way, because it's not easy, right? How many of you guys realize it's not easy to live as a Christian, right? Almost every day I like think somebody's eyeballs out. Anybody like that, or it's just me? Okay? Right? They get me mad. I'm not like some people. I don't wake up and always happy, and I always see the good after I talk to God. But if I don't talk to God, I just see ugly. And when I see people doing stupid things, I don't even try to think about, you know, what's been happening in their life or what they're going through. I just think stupid. Right? No compassion. But we don't know what that person is going through. We don't know what's going in their head. We don't know what happened to them to cause them to make that decision. We don't even understand or realize maybe how much Satan has a hold of that person, and what we're doing is we fight the flesh instead of the spirit. Right? Isn't it true that a lot of times as Christians, we don't look at the spiritual side that somebody did wrong. We look at the physical side and we start pointing fingers, condemning, and doing all this stuff and speaking against it. Yet the Bible tells us it's not the flesh we're fighting, it's the spiritual. So when we have a plan to live for God in the way that God is blessed, what we're doing is we're planning to have a spiritual life. And a spiritual life in Jesus releases spiritual blessings. Does that make sense? Alright, so if you're wondering why your life is kind of sucky, I want you to ask yourself, do I have a plan? Now, I'm not talking about a plan to be a great doctor, to be a millionaire, a plan about reaching eternity with Jesus Christ. You see, as we put God first, everything else falls into place. You see, we might be having some directional problems right now, and I can promise you, if you are, it's because God isn't at the top portion of your list. He isn't the main purpose. Because His main purpose, right? Your main purpose is Him. His main purpose is you. You see what I'm saying? And as you take care of Him and He blesses and takes care of you, He gives you the insight that is needed. Proverbs 8. You guys read the first 3 verses. I think it's about 8 of them. And it'll tell you something about wisdom. And towards the ending of here, we'll talk about a little bit more about wisdom. And how wisdom is crying out for us. See, Solomon says, you know what? Don't live your life aimlessly, not having any direction in your life. Know where you're going, right? And do what it takes to get there. I am far from being the best Christian out there. I will never claim to be the best Christian. But I'll tell you this much, I do have a crazy heart for Jesus. And in the midst of my mess ups and my ignorances, I love God with all my heart. In fact, just the other day I was driving to work. And I said, you know, Lord, I just want to thank you for loving me. I'm so ignorant. I'm so naive. I'm so foolish. I'm so weak. I started to tell the Lord all the things He already knows about me. And it's crazy way I'm driving, and I kind of, okay, this is just me. I'm a little bit weird, okay? I kind of felt God like giggle, because as if I didn't know you had a problem. You're my problem child, you know, and I was like, oh, thank you for loving me anyway, right? Anybody have a problem child? I have 3. So it's problem children. But I was praying that and I said, Lord, you know, forgive me. I'm so ignorant sometimes. I know what I should do, and I just don't want to do it sometimes. And I know I break your heart. And so I'm driving to work, and you know, this is like 4:30 in the morning. I'm on the road. I don't start till 6 o'clock, and I'm having this conversation. And I don't want to even go work now. I want to go to church. I'm crazy as it sounds. You know, I just want to go. I want to worship you, Lord, and I want to thank you. And I'm going on the road, and I got to keep focused because going on another pulley is something out here. It's crazy, right? We get traffic at 4 o'clock in the morning. What's up with that, right? And so when I get to work, I sit down in the dark, and then I have my time with the Lord, and I just thank you for loving me. You know, and I thank you for the direction He gives me. My heart is this: I just want to be the best Christian I can be today. Tomorrow's another day. I'm not going to worry about tomorrow. I get too much to worry about today. I don't know if you realize, but it's hard to be a Christian just today, right? So I focus on today, and when tomorrow comes, it's a brand new day, Lord. I try to be the best Christian then. You see, Galatians 6 tells us, don't be misled. No one makes a fool of God. What a person plants, he will harvest, right? A person who plants selfishness, ignoring the needs of others, ignores God. But those who plant in response to God, letting God's Spirit do the growth work in him or her, will harvest a crop of real life, eternal life. Oh, you don't know. You should be screaming hallelujah right now. The Lord is giving us the key on how to plant. It's not about riches. It's about a rich relationship between you and your God. So we need to have a plan of of where we're going in this relationship with Jesus. Second, we need to trust God where we are or where we're at. You see, I think a lot of us, we don't realize that we are where we at because that's the beginning point of God's work in our life. It's like the person who wants to work, but they want to get paid $22 an hour, but they don't want to start off at getting $8.75. True story. I was working recently, and you guys know the story because I worked recently when our church was having some problems, and financially we were just we were broke, and so I went back to work, and I left my job that I was working to church, and when I was working, I made good money. And so when I left, I really was battling. I said, I don't know if I quit my job, right? And you guys heard the story. One day we driving past Waianae High School where we used to have all the services, and I was crying. And my wife goes, "What's wrong with you?" Because when I met Jesus, I became a big crybaby, right? I never used to cry as much. I cry in the hiding place, right? But never show weakness like that. Never show weakness. I meet Jesus, I'm crying all over the place. While I'm driving and I'm crying, and what's wrong? Well, Jesus was talking to me, and he said, "If I asked you to do this for free, would you do it?" Now I was still working. That was a battle. I told him yes. So she says, "What you gonna do?" "I'm not quitting my job." She goes, "What do you think God is saying?" "Quit your job." And I said, "But I don't trust the church." I don't. Because my life, my family's life, will be placed into the church's hands. If something goes wrong, guess who suffers? And so I finally made the decision after this long battle, and my wife said, "Just do what you feel God is saying." And for a while we were doing great. I wasn't making the kind of money that I made at my job, but we made enough to be okay. And then stuff happened and all this stuff, and now we couldn't afford to pay me. So I still want to get back my good job that I was making good money at, right? But it wasn't happening. So I had to take the next best thing. There was a job that paid $7.75 an hour. How many of you guys know what $7.75 an hour do? Not there. Alright? No offense. If you guys are there, God bless you. You stay there. God is doing a work. So I went there and I made that, and oh my gosh, he was working me like I should have got paid $50 an hour, They said, "Oh, you good worker, we want you here, blah, blah, blah. We want to make you a floor supervisor within a year." Supervisor, big name, means big money, right? Supervisor, worker, big different. Well, I went from $7.75 to $8. If I didn't want to slap the guy with the paper, 25 cents, you're telling me you want me to be a floor supervisor, you give me 25 cents? Well, I'm at the place where I can't be choosy. As much as I want to say no, that's what I have to take. I worked at $8 for the while, and I had a 50-cent raise within the next year, and made $8.15. And I was burnt out. They got their money burnt out with me, kind of thing. I said, "Lord, if this is what you want me to do, you have to give me strength here. I'm like burnt out." Then the Lord opened up the door, and I started working at the cafeteria, which I've been there for now 2 years. And they paid pretty good money. Now, the way I was working at Waianae store and the way I'm working at the school, Waianae store should pay what the school pays. They pay $18 an hour. I tell anybody, you guys can get into the state, you guys better go. In fact, there's a lot of openings right now. And here's the great thing. I'm just a sub, meaning I'm on call. And I left Waianae store telling my wife, I don't know if I'm doing the right thing because I'm on call. That means sometimes I don't get work, sometimes I'm not going to get work. How this works with the school payroll is crazy. If you're off 2 weeks, You have to wait a whole month to get another check. I can't afford that. Right? No, I'll live on me. Right? And so the crazy thing is that we prayed, and I said, I think, my wife and I was saying, I think this is what we're supposed to do. And I went there, and I've been working 2 years steady. Apparently, people who work for the state have a lot of leave. God bless them. Keep leaving. I have a job. You know? So I realized something that, we gotta learn to trust God where we're at. We can't wait for something to drop into our laps from heaven. We need to keep doing what we're doing. And if God has another destiny for us, then He'll call us out when the time is right. But wherever you're at and you're moving forward, just continue to do that. Don't get discouraged. Trust God. We serve a God whose one priority is you. Above everything else. How do I know that? Today we're going to set up a communion. The day the Lord says, let me tell you how much you mean to me. I'm going to send my son to the cross so that you will always have a way to me when you're ready. And when you're ready, you will have this continuous opening of my throne room for you to walk in. See, too many people desire destiny but not willing to pay the price. We don't realize that even being a Christian comes with a price. It comes with a price that's called obedience. Right? I gotta be really honest with you. At home when I was sleeping, that was the place to be, not here. Then my son woke me up because I told him in case I fall asleep, wake me up at 4. He said it's 4 o'clock. And I gotta be honest, I didn't jump out of the bed and like, church. But this is so much nicer. So I jumped in the shower, stayed there another 10 minutes. You guys ever bathe and just let the water run out? And I'm like, oh. Right? And the water not running out, I said, oh, thank God wants me to stay longer right here. And I look, it's like 4:30. I'm like, okay, church starts in about half an hour. It'll take about 20 minutes to get everything and then get down the road. Okay, 5 more minutes. Right? Some other people here thought somebody else was speaking, I was preaching. And they got here, I was like, oh, yeah. But once I get in, I'm like, oh. Right? What's the difference is that, I just got to get myself sometimes in moving. I'm a hard guy to move. If I don't want to move, you're not going to move me. And if you look at me, I'm not a small person. I can hold my ground and I'm going to sit here and I'm not going to move. But I have to realize that God has a plan for me. And God is doing something. Ephesians 2, right? And if you guys notice, I'm not giving you guys scripture with chapters and, the verses. Because I want you guys to look at it. So I give you guys clues, right? Solomon said, oh, you're looking for Solomon, right? Ephesians 2. Read the whole thing, right? Well, Ephesians 2 says this. For we are God's masterpiece. He created us anew in Christ Jesus so we can do the good things He planned long ago. Let's call that. When God designed us, right? And Scripture says, we're still in our mom's womb, God designed us, right? He knew us. But when God designed us so long ago, He designed us with a great plan in store for us. And I want you to listen to what God is saying to you. He is saying you are His personal creation, His personal masterpiece. And at the time He created you, He already put into motion the direction for your life to be filled with the prosperity of heaven. That drives me crazy. It tells me if I'm listening to God, there's no way that I can miss the blessing that God has for my life. There's no way I cannot receive John 10:10. But in John 10:10, there's also a warning. You guys want the answer? We'll read it. Right? If we are wise to follow His guidance, we will live out the tailored life that God has planned for us. I mean, you gotta just read scripture. You will be amazed at what God says about you. Right? Does not, I didn't create you so you would experience disaster. He created us so that we would prosper. So if I want the blessing that God has for me, the best destination for me comes with following God's direction and trusting Him. Right? Maybe your life's not all great right now. But do you trust that God has you in His plans? You see, maybe there's something you guys gotta work out. Maybe something God is working out inside or between you and somebody else so that these folks can see what God is planning. Because even though we are Christians, a lot of times we can tend to plan without God in the picture. But we'll still say this, that's God's plan. Just because your life is going good doesn't necessarily mean God is part of the plan. I know a lot of people who are very well off, have great marriages, and don't know Jesus. The problem is that when this world ends, their destination is in heaven. And that scares the heck out of me. I'm at work and I'm sharing with two people that they ought to be in fellowship. They love Jesus. And I said, church doesn't save. Okay, church doesn't save. You guys need to understand this. If you're coming to Hope Chapel because you think you're going to get saved, you are completely wrong. So you better run now while you get a chance. Okay? We come to Hope Chapel to come together in agreement that the God we serve deserves to be worshipped. And if it's true, our relationship with God and each other, we feel the extension of God's hand from heaven here on the physical realm that we live. Does that make sense? Church don't save. Jesus saved. But this community right here is a reminder of the power and authority of God. And as we submit to His power, and authority, we become God's extension. Amen? Third, follow wisdom's voice until you die. Right? Proverbs 7 tells us that wisdom cries out, saying, follow my advice, treasure my commands, obey my commands, and live. Guard my instructions as you guard your own eyes. Tie them around your finger, write them on your heart. Let insight keep you from the affairs of an immoral woman or other thieves. So the Lord is saying that this wisdom shouting out, and it'll be wise for us to listen. Because if we don't, we're going to get misled. Now, I want you guys to understand, this isn't just listening for the moment or for the circumstance. This is listening until you die. Right? Until the day God calls me home, I pray that I'm always listening to His wisdom. And I say that because I know I love God. I know I want to live for God. But I also know that I'm just a mere human who can tend to submit to my personal feelings and my own emotions, my own pleasure. And if I stay in those areas too long, I have no problem pushing God aside. I want to be really honest with you guys. People are looking at me and they go, oh, you're a pastor, and oh, your life must have been really good. I want to tell you, this is not my first rodeo coming to church. I have gone in and out of church because of a struggle between me and God. I had a hard time acknowledging God. I had a hard time believing all that He said is real. Because if He did, then why did bad things happen to me? If He is all He said, then why we live in a sucky world? If He is all He said, then why is my life like this? Blah, 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 blah. And then I realized that it wasn't His choice. According to Scripture, His choice, His plan was I would have great things. But I live in a world that is corrupt. And in this corrupt world, there's corrupt people who make bad decisions that affect and hurt innocent people. You know, we've seen on the television how much people got into these accidents already. I mean, the death rate is higher than last year. Some of those guys that was in the car, they're black. But the person behind the wheel decided to go a little bit faster than they should. I mean, a bunch of people are dead this year. Is that God's fault? No. The decision of the person. So, I want us to hear this. Scripture is telling us in Proverbs, listen to wisdom. Wisdom is crying out. I gotta really believe this, okay? I know that when God created us, He created us with this mind of great intelligence. How many of you guys would say you're intelligent? Yeah. If you're not raising your hand, you're on them. Because God created us with the capacity to make decisions and choices, right? To choose. And then to know the difference between right and wrong. You're intelligent people. The problem is, a lot of us don't think we're intelligent, therefore we make unintelligent decisions. Living for the moment. But there's eternity after this. I'm not the brightest person out there, but I've read the scriptures. I look up and I find that science is even proving that the scriptures have truth. It's real. In fact, it's crazy how they use the Bible to solve some of their mysteries. And so, if the Bible is being used to prove fact, then I think I better reevaluate my decision about who I decide to serve. It's a no-brainer for me. I want to share something with you. I shared something with my friend earlier. Okay, so we all have to go through different things. We all have different elements. Some of you guys are healthy and God bless you. Okay? Some of us just went through some stuff, right? So I recently got a call from my doctor. My doctor sounded all scared, you know. When they sound scared, they make me scared, right? You know, I'm like, oh man, what is all the drama for? He goes, you gotta come back and do your tests because your kidney function is not looking good again. And so, you know, I love the Lord, and I always gotta keep my heart right with the Lord. Because if I don't, I start to go and do the boo-hoo. It's me. You guys ever do that? Boo-hoo is me. God don't love me like He loved the other guys. Because if He loved me, they would have this and not me. Right? Or my thing was, you know, at school I was 150 pounds. I was like, yeah. Today I'm 300 pounds. I can't get rid of it. It's just stuck on me. Oh Lord, if You love me, help me share all this off. Yeah, it's still there. God telling me, I love you just the way you are. I created you in such a way that you become my testimony. You see, the testimony isn't what you're going through. The testimony is how you're going through it. I shared with my friend, I said, I want you to know this, a Christian brother. I said, I am stinking scared. Like I am. Nobody sees it, but this is something I sit in my quiet place and I cry. I'm like, oh, I'm stinking scared. But in the midst of all this, I have to trust that God will give me the strength and the guidance that I need. And when everybody thinks that I'm the one that's strong in doing this, I got to remind them I am weak, but the God I serve is strong. See, in my weakness, God's strength is revealed. Does that make sense? So, I want us to learn this about the Lord, that we can cry out to the Lord, and the Lord is crying out to us. He says, take the wisdom I have for you, grab on to it. Read the scripture. I have great plans for you. And in the scripture, I tell you how to harness the power and authority of heaven to place into your life now, that you would live with victory no matter what the world is delivering. You see, we have to learn to live in that mindset that until I die, I will listen to wisdom. We're made by God, for God, and until we understand that life will never be the same or make sense to us. Does that make sense? I mean, you guys still with me? Right? When I realize that I'm here for the purpose and glory for God, then I realize that some of my, although I'm going through some rough stuff, and God really created, it can definitely be used to reveal His power and authority in the fallen world we live in today. What a wonderful God we serve. That is what Paul believed, right? He writes in Philippians 3, "No, dear brothers and sisters, I have not achieved it, but I focus on one thing, forgetting the past and looking forward to what lies ahead." What Paul is saying is he is convinced that nothing else in this life compares to what God has in store for his life. So he leaves everything behind for the one sole purpose of following Jesus. Are we in this place? Right? Are we running towards Jesus? Not being concerned about what life is delivering. Not being concerned about this or that. Not that we're not supposed to, we're supposed to. But are we making our one sole purpose to follow Him? Like I said, if we listen to wisdom, wisdom will tell you how to fix your relationship. When we listen to wisdom, we have to be proactive. That means we have to respond to wisdom according to wisdom's value. Right? Parents says, don't climb the tree. That's wisdom. I have to listen to wisdom and realize that if I climb the tree, something bad can happen. Well, if I decide to climb the tree and I fall out, is that wisdom's fault? No, that's my fault. I made a decision. So what it tells me was wisdom was screaming out, but I didn't listen. That's what Scripture is saying. Right before Jesus entered into Jerusalem for the last time, He cried. And He wasn't crying for the people in the front, the wall, outside the wall. He's crying for the people on the inside. Because if you only understood the wisdom that I'm crying out for you, that if you get this salvation and eternity with the Father in heaven will be yours for all eternity. But you're not listening to wisdom. You're caught up with the world. You're caught up with the heart. You're seduced by the things of this world. She's talking to you, saying this is a better life. Enjoy it now. You're not going to be young forever. And the Lord says she's right. But eternity is where you need to be concerned. lot of dumb decisions in my life, and on many of them I regret. And if I only knew Jesus now, or then, the way I know Jesus now, my life would be totally different. Do I have regrets? I gotta be honest with you. I'm gonna say no. Because I'm that hard-headed, I wouldn't have learned these fully. How many of you guys gotta learn the hard way? Yeah. Just don't stay there too long. Right? Because when you hit rock bottom, you hit hard. I'll find them as God fixes mess ups. Oh, I love this about the God we serve. What if I made a bad decision? What if I haven't included God in my plans? What if I messed up things so bad that there doesn't seem to be any way of fixing it? I want to read for you Isaiah 42:21 to 22. It says, "Pay attention, O Jacob, for you are my servant, O Israel. I, the Lord, made you, and I will not forget you. I have swept away your sins like a cloud. I have scattered your offenses like the morning mist. Oh, return to me, for I have paid the price to set you free." You should be screaming hallelujah. I mean, I'm writing this at home, and I'm having a little Holy Spirit moment myself. My eyes are tearing up. Right? Because I know this truth about my God, and it drives me crazy because I know I'm so insufficient. Paul writes, "I am such what wretched man am I?" Right? I want to do good, but I don't. How many of you guys are like that? Yeah? I want to do good, but I don't always do good. God has an answer for that. Right? He says, "I scatter those things from you like the mist." And what that's saying is, you guys understand what a mist does, right? That mist, and then it's gone. You see, I'm so humbled by the God we serve. I'm so blessed with the heart of Jesus that when I make mistakes, I go to the Lord and I say, "Lord, I'm sorry. I'm a scrub. I really am." And then I know I could have done better, but I just didn't, Lord. And this heart of remorse, that kind of be one like, "Oh, I know I could have done better, but I never, Lord." No, that's ignorance, right? But when you stand for the Lord, Lord, I know I could have done better, and I know I could have stopped, but I just got caught up, Lord, and I was just enticed. I was seduced with sin, and I followed all the way. As the word said earlier, right? She threw her arms around me and I kissed her and she kissed me. You guys know what I'm talking about? You guys ever seduce sin? Right? Or has sin seduce you guys? You guys probably like, "Ew, nasty." Yeah, it is nasty that we would allow sin to do that to us. But you know what? If we're not careful, we do it. How? Simple. Let's kind of turn this and just kind of say, what is one of those ways? I want anger. You know, anger is a sin. But how many of us let anger seduce us? Right? Throw her arms on us. For girls, his arms on you. And kiss you and goes, "It's okay. Let's be angry together. Let's be angry all night long. Let's caress anger. And let's start hurting people and hating people." How many of you guys still with me? Yeah. So we're not only talking about the sexual part, we're talking about sin and the different avenues that sin takes us and how we give into it. We're enticed by it, drawn in by it, and all of a sudden we respond that way. says, if we are humbly sorry for what we've done, then our sins are removed from us. Does that mean you won't do it again? Hopefully not. But I've learned this sometimes. There's certain lessons in life you need to fail 1,000 times. So you may not know it, but the Lord knows it. And He's saying this. You have just repented and asked God for 176 times for the same sin. You're getting discouraged and saying, I guess I'll never win. The Lord is rejoicing because 1,077 times you're going to be victorious. I'm ready for burst out and cry. I just got to be really honest. You see, I don't realize this, but God knows that I need to fall 1,077 times before I finally get it right. And if I give up before His plan, before He realized that I need to, I sabotage my faith with Him. I want to encourage you guys. Don't sabotage your faith. If you're struggling with something and maybe yours is 100 million times, well, maybe the Lord is rejoicing because you're going to have to fail 5 more times. Don't give up. Keep fighting it. And one day you'll get stronger as you trust in God. You see, this is one thing I've learned is that I serve the God of beginnings again and again. I serve the God of do-overs. Oh, do I know about the God of do-overs. He takes my failures and my faults and removes them and replaces them with a clear slate. And it is on this clear slate he starts to build his relationship with me and mine with him. And little by little, nail after nail, 2 by 4 after 2 by 4, we start to build a great kingdom. A temple where my God can reside in me and be Lord and King. You still, we serve a great, great God. Let me close with the story. We're going to get ready for communion about Roy. At halftime, they went to the locker room 8 points behind. The coach looked at the team and said, "Men, the same team that played the first half will start the second half." The players got up and started walking out all but Roy. He didn't move. The coach looked back and called to him, but Roy didn't move again. The coach went over to Roy and said, "Roy, didn't you hear me? The same team that played in the first half is going to play in the second half." Roy looked at the coach with tears rolling down his face and said, "I can't do it. I've worried myself. I can't face the crowd out there." The coach put his hand on Roy's shoulder and said, "Roy, don't give up. Get back in the game. It isn't over yet." See, we all make mistakes. We need to get up and start again. The game's not over yet. The game isn't over until the day Jesus Christ comes with a shout from heaven calling us home. Until that time, we have the opportunity to dust ourselves off to the power of the Holy Spirit and start running again. I don't care what kind of stuff happened in your life. I don't care what kind of history you have. I don't care about what kind of struggles you're dealing with. I don't care how ill you are in your brain. God says until the time comes when Jesus comes for us, we are still in the game. We need to get up. You see, I have all the reasons why I should be disqualified as a believer. But my faith isn't through my actions. I had no power to save me. The power that saved me was the blood of Jesus Christ on the cross. So I cannot take credit for salvation. That is all Jesus. And according to what Jesus said on the cross, remember what he says, Lord, Father, forgive them. They won't know what they're doing. You think when you mess up and you're feeling all junk, that God's heart is bound down to you, just waiting to hear you say, Lord, I need you. I need your son Jesus. I believe he is. And at the minute we say, Lord, I'm sorry and I need you, God lifts us up. I want to go off in tongues right now. I don't know if you guys know we're Pentecostals, but oh boy, I gotta hold my mouth right now. Because I'm so excited. God lifts us up and it's going to be okay. Let's get going. The race is not done yet. There's a lot of people out there still need to know about my son Jesus. And you're the tool I'm going to use. But my life is messed up. That's why I want you. You see, I want them to see that although they may be messed, you may be messed up, you serve a God who fixes up. Man, I didn't know how much you guys, but all of a sudden this bad week that I had seems to suddenly make sense. It is all about the glory and the power of my God and not about me. My bad week was because I made it more about me than the God I serve. It's too bad I took the whole week to figure that out. Pray for me. How many of you guys love Jesus? Amen? It's not over again. Whatever you're going through in your life, I want you to continue to seek God out. Even though you failed, even though you messed up, continue to seek God out, because according to what he says, he has something so huge for you, you cannot even begin to fathom the goodness of his plans for each of you. Unbelievable. Just a little bit, just thinking about him, I want to do cartwheels, but I might hurt myself, so I'm not going to do anything. I want to just end up time in prayer. I'm going to call up